Alright, it's another beautiful day out here in Victoria in Australia, and you can see what I'm doing here. I'm dumping the oil. Yeah, I went and bought a paddock stand the other week so I can get it back, because I absolutely can't get it up on its own centre stand. I don't know why, I just can't do it. And anyway, it seems safer on the paddock stand anyway, so it's up on that now. I've literally dumped the oil. The oil poured out like water. It's as black as anything, and it's literally like water. The engine only was warmed up for about 5 minutes, and then it just poured out. So yeah, it's obviously well due for a change. As you can see here, it's just absolutely black, and see how it's dripping and rippling like that. It's as thin as, I don't think it's been changed in a long time. So now my next little adventure is trying to get the oil filter out, which is in there somewhere, and put some of the good stuff in. Some of the good Australian Penrite and a genuine Yamaha oil filter. So yeah, we'll get this done and we'll see how we go. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done any work on this bike, and I'm still trying to get it roadworthy, as in get it ready to register for the road. That's my main goal at the moment, is just to get it registered, and then we'll worry about modifying and doing anything to it later on. Now, one of the things I needed to change was this one here was broken or cracked, so I've replaced it with a brand new one, but because I couldn't buy just one on its own, I bought a whole set. So that's the broken one there, the cracked one, and I'll replace the other three with brand new ones. Even though they aren't cracked, they just look nice and newer, so I'll do that anyway. And the other job I want to do today is, this is the original air filter box that came with the bike, but it absolutely will not go on. It will not sit over the carbies, and it will not screw down, even when it's completely assembled. The section of it that goes on the top that has the tab doesn't meet up with the frame of the bike, so I'm fairly certain it's not the original one for it, and I can't find one anywhere for it, so not easily accessible anyway. So I've decided, rather than have no air filter at all, I will fit a set of these mid-range style pod filters. Even though you won't see them, they're going to have to, I have to put something there. I just can't run the bike with no air filters. It runs too lean as it is at the moment. So this is the goal for today, is indicators and pod filters. I did want to do a petcock today, but that hasn't come in yet, so as soon as that comes in, I'll add that to the next video. But obviously, again, because I'm doing this with an iPhone without a stand, and I've got no other way of holding this, you'll probably see before and afters more than anything else. The two bolts I need to get off are the 12mm and the 10mm at the front of the tank. I've lifted out of the way to get those things, and just a Phillips screwdriver around this side, right there, is a Phillips screwdriver, and just undo those, pop them off, and replace them with other ones. Anyway, we'll come back when we've got a bit more done. Alrighty, nice new indicator lenses, all around the correct way too. They've got a little drain thing just at the bottom here. I didn't realise until I put them on, one of them on, they were supposed to go a certain way. And I'm glad I replaced them all, because it turned out this one here was all cracked and broken inside here, which I hadn't really noticed before. So I'm glad I've done that now. So that's now 4 new indicator lenses. While these might not stay on the bike forever, at least they'll get me through the roadworthy process. Alright, next job is to get this tank off and get those pods on and see how they look. Okay, for those who haven't seen this before, this is a before shot. This is what the carbies look like without any air filter on them at all. Now, I've had these off in a previous video. I've had these off and cleaned them all, one at a time, put them all back together again, and they now all run perfectly fine. The only thing is, obviously they're sucking in straight air and not being filtered. So, alright, this is a before shot. And here's the after shot. nice and neatly screwed down. They just barely fit beside each other 2x2, but they do go on. They tighten up nice and firmly, which is what I need. I just needed air filters. I just need to stress again that I'm not doing this for looks, because you won't see this once the tank's on. I'm only doing it because I need air filters, and these were the only option I could find that were within a budget, and here in Australia that were easy enough to get. They weren't the most cheapest things you could get, not the most expensive. I was somewhere in the middle. Alright, I'm going to try and fire her up shortly and see how she sounds. Okay, well, she started up. So, nice and easy, first kick. Not scary at all. Still a bit of back firing. Still probably need to get to them, I think. Okay, so look what arrived in the mail today. A nice aftermarket fuel petcock. Been waiting like nearly 3 weeks for it. It's about damn time. Postage from the US to Australia just sucks. Alright, and that's going to replace this one here that doesn't have a lever at all, and it doesn't have a primary fill tube that's up in there, so it's just not going to be, it's not going to work. So we'll replace that and I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, she's installed. Hoses come out slightly different than where the last one was, the genuine one was, but it should work. Okay, the holes were the same size, they felt a bit tight, but seemed to have gone on without any leaks, so we'll see how we go. Okay, well, it's installed and there's no leaks. It seems to function as it's supposed to, so I'm happy with that. An aftermarket part from eBay. I just had to move the cables down a bit, the hoses, get them down there a bit further so they had a bit more of a free run. But yep, it seems to be okay, it seems to fit, seems to work, so I'm more than happy with that. Okay, another XJ600 video today, and what we're working on today is the fairing. Just started doing one patch, never really done fiberglassing before, but we'll see how we go. Taking it all apart. I mean, I did this all off camera obviously, because as I said, I can't hold a phone and do work at the same time. So I've got bits of it apart, so that's the glass, which will probably need some sort of cleaning because it's gone all yellow, but hopefully I'll figure out how to get that clean. There's a little valance panel here. I'll just set all the screws in that for now. And I'll just keep working on this, working my way around the holes, the cracks. You know, the big pieces that are missing, I'm going to have to fill that whole section in there. Cracks there. That's cracked down in through there. I'm not quite sure if you can see it here. Yeah, you see, it's cracked in there. But yeah, I'm just going to work my way around it with some fiberglass and some matting, and we'll just see how we go. Alright, I'll continue on later. Okay, we go from this piece of work here, which is drying up nicely now. Yeah, I didn't get it all, but it's as good as it's going to get. So while these are still drying and setting, I've been in here, and yep, you guessed it, the back wheel is off. Up on the paddock stand, this is about the only way you can lift this heavy thing. Well, anyway, I've got it anyway, because that doesn't really do it. Doesn't really work very well, because it's got a seal on the exhaust, and I'm not happy about that. So Yeah, so it's one wheel at a time on a paddock stand with this thing, I think. So the idea here is we're going to strip off the sprocket on one side, the brake disc on the other. I'm going to clean the wheels as best I can. The outside edge of the rim is going to be bare metal silver, or as polished or as clean as I can make it. And I'm going to paint the rest of it a nice gold. I just think that'll look nice with a red bike. And the same will happen with the front wheel when I can get it off. And most likely the exhaust, because it needs paint as well, and I've got some high heat paint that's in gold. So I'll end up doing the wheels, exhaust with a nice gold that'll complement the red. I think it gives it that racing look. It kind of suits this vehicle I have here. I kind of like the red with the gold wheels. So yeah, I think that'll work well. Alright, on to the next stage. Okay, here's what I came up with to paint the wheel. Set it up on a little table with some bricks, a long screwdriver through it, and I can spin it. And I can access both sides of it quite easily. That allows me to paint both sides of the wheel and have access to all parts of it without having to stuff around, leaving it lying on the ground or whatever. I think this will work. Alright, so the next operation will be painting. Not sure if the camera is going to capture this very well, but because of the light. But that is sweet looking gold. It's going to look really nice. It's a bit hard because I've got the wrong angle for the camera, but it's coming out very nice. It's just a really nice old school gold. It's going to come up really good. It's going to look great against the red on the bike. And it just tidies the rims up, just makes them look so much neater. Yes, I know I've painted over the wheel weights, but what are you going to do? I suppose if I ever get it rebalanced, there's a weight missing there altogether, so yeah, we'll see how we go. Alright, yep, so that's it. From a dirty old worn out silver corrosion looking type wheel, now a new looking gold wheel. Great. Alright, after a busy day and in between having to go out, come back and go out and come back, I finally got this wheel off and painted and on the bike, and it just looks absolutely awesome. Loving the way this looks, it's turning out. With that red against the gold, the old gold wheels, it just looks fantastic. I mean, yeah, and being able to get the wheel off and the brake disc off and get everything masked up so you can do a really neat job with the tyre on. It took me ages to mask it all up, like literally 2 hours to mask it up properly, and only about 15 minutes to paint it. Maybe, yeah, half an hour or so, when I took some breaks to let it dry, but otherwise it's come up really, really nice. I'm just loving the way this is going to turn out. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it registered today because we couldn't get our club safety inspector to sign the paperwork in time, but that's alright, I've still got work to do on this, so I can wait till next week. But in the meantime, I've got this to go on with. A busted up fairing. That's nearly almost fiberglass back together and fixed. I found some paint, I got it matched. It's actually a similar colour to my car, so Holden, what is it? Fake VE Venom Red. My car's VE Sting Red, so very similar colour. So probably in the next day or two I'm going to start finishing this up, doing some sanding, undercoating, and then probably spray this up, clear coat it, and yeah, get the top of the glass part cleaned up and get that on as well. Alright, I'm well happy with this. Okay, so I didn't actually catch the, I didn't record the sanding and filling and that sort of thing part of this part of the job, but I've literally been over the fairing now. I've got it as straight as I can get it. I'm not very good at body and paint, so this is just going to be a rider quality job. I'm going to get it all one colour. As you can see, there's some of the work there. I've just put a light coat over it just now just to let it flash off and dry. So those big pieces there, that piece there was completely missing altogether. So that's all fiberglass and body filler in there, and a hole drilled to match that hole over there. Like I said, this is not going to be show quality. I'm getting it ready to ride because it is, even though you can hear the wind blowing like crazy here in Australia, it is a cooler day. It is a bit windy and a bit rainy, but it actually is summer now, and I want to have this bike ready to ride for summer. So I'm going to paint this, put quite a few coats on it until it's nice and red, then clear coat it, and put together the rest of the fairing and put it on the motorcycle, because literally this summer I do not want to spend the summer in the shed. I want to be out riding a bike. So I'm going to get this bike up to rider quality, which is all I ever really wanted to do with this for the time being. And I'll ride it, and then over winter I'll put it up, and then we'll see what happens. I might end up taking these parts into a professional paint shop and having them redone properly, but for the time being they're just going to be done up to rider quality. I just want to get out and ride this thing, so yep, that's where we're up to. It's about a week after the last video I made, and I've just finally got it for a ride. I've had a big massive problem with fuel leaks and finally solved all those this morning, so I just rode about 30 kilometres from home down the coast. So I pull over and do a quick walk around. With the conclusion of this video, I'm going to say we're complete. We've got it registered, roadworthy. It now rides and runs, so I think we're all good. Yeah. So this is it. XJ600, 1991 model. Completely got running again, restored, fixed, working, and running. Thanks.